All right, so Coach Smythe and I are going to take you through a couple quick goalie development drills. This one's going to work on Jimmy's off-hip save, so it's a trouble spot for a lot of goalies. What I'm going to do is have him get on his 45 and drop to both knees, and I'm just going to simply shoot at this bottom left corner, and Jim's going to try and get his hands around and make this save. So it really focuses the goalie on driving his hands first. He doesn't have his feet to necessarily fall back on, right? And it makes it easier for me as a coach and a shooter to aim at this bottom left corner than to pick that perfect off-stick hip side to shoot at. So we're just going to simply rep a number of shots like that. That's one quick drill you can do to develop a goalie's off-stick hip.
All right, so this next drill, we're going to call it the big step drill. The reason why we do this is to kind of work on the goalie's lateral movement. You know, an old school thought was to step to the ball, and now that players are shooting upwards of 90+ miles per hour, it's really hard to step at a ball coming at you that fast. So we are starting to teach goalies to step laterally to give them that split second more to stop that ball. So a great drill to do is you put a goalie in cage, you got the balls about 7 yards in front of the cage, and you're going to have the goalie hug the pipe, right? He's going to hug the pipe tight, he's going to be square to the shooter, and he's almost going to play a bad angle in the cage. And all we're going to do is shoot to that far side. So right now, Jimmy's in the cage, he's on the left side of the cage, he's going to be stepping across to the right side. And we're just going half speed with the shots, but really over-exaggerating that step, reach, and gather step on these shots. So here we go. You can go high, you can go low, you can have it go from both sides, right? So he's stepping across, and now he'll just start on the left pipe. Step to the right pipe, all right? And now he'll start on the right pipe and step to the left pipe. Oh, I got you there. Here we go, I got a ball. And we're just working on those stepping. Stepping and reaching with that step, all right, reaching with your stick, and then if you watch his feet, he's bringing his feet all the way across. He's not lunging for that ball. He's stepping right across. The second foot falls right behind. Couple more, Jim. And then once they get better, you can kind of speed up the shots a little bit, make them really work for it, really step for that ball. And if you're watching Jim right now, you'll notice the stick side is a little bit easier for him. So I would start with your goalie. If you have a new goalie, start with him stepping towards his stick side, because off stick side is a little bit harder. So the next drill we're going to do is a variation of walking the line. One of the things that I think is most important for goalies is their footwork. And this kind of helps you with young goalies and their footwork, making sure that their second step is underneath their body. You see a lot of goalies really reaching for balls and not bringing that second foot underneath them. And this drill kind of works on that. So what you're going to see is Jim's going to put the ball out in front of him. He's going to drop the ball and take 2 steps before he can catch the ball, all right? So that really works on getting your feet underneath you and then focusing on the ball. Younger goalies, even high school goalies, are going to have a tough time at this at first, but it's a good drill to kind of work on everything. Notice how he's dropping it out in front. Now we're going to drop it to the side like it's a shot to his stick side, and he's going to step over the line, right? So there's where that line comes into play. Both feet you want over to the left side of the line when it's coming to his stick side. Now we can go across his body the other way, and same thing. Drop 2 steps, catching that ball before it hits the ground again. And that's the variation of walk the line.
All right. So this is one last one we're going to go through for your goalies. This is especially good for young goalies. So we talked last week in our goalie warm-up about keeping the goalie centered in the frame. Some goalies may have a tough time wrapping their head around that concept because you're the one that sees them in the frame, not the other way around. So what we're going to do is I've tied a string, piece of twine to middle of the right sidebar and now I'm going to do it to the middle of the left side bar, and I'm going to have Jimmy hop in cage right now. So hop in, Jim. Then what I'm going to do is back up until this string's pretty tight around my hip. And what that's going to do is put me in a frame for the goalie so he can see if I'm centered to him off the strings coming to each side of him, he's centered. If he's out of position, he'll notice that it looks like I'm out of position in his frame as well. So real simply what we're going to do is take him through an arc, right? And just at first have him stay centered. And what we're going to do is try and waste as few steps as possible. So he's, we talked about 5-step and 3-step drops, whatever your goalie's comfortable with, but we're going to have him try to keep his break points limited. That's a perfect time to step, right? He doesn't want to be taking a step every time I move. He wants to hold until he has to move and then reframe me. Hold until he has to move and then reframe me, right? And Jimmy's working on a 5-step drop right here. Holds until he has to move and reframe me. And he's staying really nice and evenly balanced between the pipes right now because he can see me between the string. If we want to develop this drill a step further, we can then take shots out of it, although the immediate problem you're going to have is there's a lot of strings in your way, so to take an accurate shot's going to be difficult. I like to do this drill sometimes just ball in hand, throw it, tennis ball maybe. Sometimes I'll have the goalie drop their stick and throw a football. If you lose your stick for a second, Jimmy, in order to get down to balls that are low without a stick, they really have to exaggerate their footwork, which is great too. So it's a good drill to keep your goalie balanced and save that. Oh, got it.